Have you ever thought of traveling to any place while you are in the same place and you did not move? Have you ever thought of being asleep and floating outside your body and seeing yourself from above? Have you ever thought of seeing what others do not see? And you can see things happening in places far away from you, but you see them clearly and you have never moved from your place. Astral projection, time travel. Welcome, my friends, to a new and very interesting video in which I will talk about astral projection. First, do not worry about the introduction, because most people, when they talk about astral projection, they make you feel like you are in a horror experience. They make you feel like you're in a horror movie. Your feelings and emotions start to flare up with them, and you start to see details and feel that the matter is very scary, and you do not know your true ability and what you can actually do. These people start to plant ideas in your mind, ideas that have no connection to reality at all, because they lack experience and lack knowledge and lack of experiences. They have not actually tried astral projection or do not literally understand the meaning of astral projection. Today, I will tell you about my experience with astral projection, or what they call leaving the body, and how I originally entered this experience and who introduced me to it. First, let me get into the subject direct. In my beginning, about 10 years ago, I learned to practice simultaneous meditation and the benefits of simultaneous meditation in raising awareness, memory, recollection, and imagination. You can raise your abilities and have confidence with the soul, and being a creative person, a person with a very broad imagination, you can do a lot of creative things. The important thing is that transcendental meditation used to take me to a very high level of awareness. One night, while I was practicing transcendental meditation as usual, I felt that I was floating in the body. What does floating in the body mean? I felt that something of me was coming out of my body. I felt that I was doing something like a swing. I felt that I was not balanced. So I started to move my body and found my body numb. I felt that I was not able to burn my body. I actually and literally felt that my body was asleep, but my consciousness was awake. I felt what was happening, but I did not know what was happening. When I found my body floating, I began to fear the experience. So I came to search for this matter, because I did not have experience with star projection and I had not heard of it. So it happened that this experience that I was going through in transcendental meditation, when I found my body floating and feeling very light, as if I was flying from the bed I was sleeping, I started to search for the matter. I found something. Its name is astral projection. So I started to delve deeper into this matter and try to apply it through transcendental meditation. I start to enter a state of relaxation or a state of self-hypnosis until my body reaches the point where it is completely asleep and my mind is very aware and focused on a specific goal. Every time I reach the stage of astral projection and exit the body with awareness, I feel that I am actually in this stage. I am very afraid because I do not know what will happen. I feel that something strange is happening to me, but I'm not able to define it. But when I read about astral projection from reliable sources and people who have tried these experiences, I began to have certainty that it is a very natural thing that happens with consciousness. So I started trying to apply this experiment every now and then, which I will tell you today, and you will do it, God willing. I will tell you first the meaning of astral projection, what astral projection is, and how astral projection takes you to a stage where you can actually go anywhere and you are in your place. You can do very wonderful things inside your imagination and inside your memory, and everything in you increases awareness, intelligence, and memory, and you find that you have quick wit, and all the innate automatic things that exist in humans begin to take a higher level than the level you're in, even your way of thinking. Astral projection is a transitional stage between wakefulness and sleep. In this stage, you need to focus your awareness on it, meaning if your body is not asleep, your body is not completely relaxed. It is impossible to reach this stage if your awareness is not completely relaxed and there are thoughts and problems and you think about the past and think about pains and so on. You will not reach this stage. This stage is a process of balancing between the sleep of the body and the relaxation of the body and the awakening of consciousness, and that consciousness is present at that moment. As soon as you reach this stage, your awareness rises greatly and your imagination rises greatly. You can control your imagination so that it can see anything from outside you, not from inside you. It is natural for a person when he comes to imagine. If I told you now, imagine a red apple, it is natural for you to imagine internally that the apple is darker, its color is red. I'm sorry. If you come, I told you about astral projection. The way you imagine is not the internal, it is the external way. I want you to imagine that you're outside your body and you imagine the apple inside your mind. It is very difficult, something that is not understood. I will explain it simply. Imagine that you are now your imagination inside you. You are now doing the process of converting the imagination from the inside to the outside. As if you are standing outside you and looking at your inside. You bring it from the outside, not from the inside. This is from the outside to the inside. You imagine yourself outside, far from your body, and you start imagining things from another perspective. This is exactly astral projection. The people who tell you I can go out at the same moment and see things happening in place. Again, any person in any group does not have to have astral projection in order to experience this. Many people have experienced things that they can feel things happening in other places or see things happening in other names or hear things happening in other names. This is also astral projection, but the person gets inspiration that makes him see different things than a normal person would see. Therefore, astral projection is a stage that takes you to the point where you can imagine from the outside in, not from the inside out. By the way, you will not find anyone who tells you this, and I'm speaking to you from experience. Anyway, let's go back to the conversation. When I came to try astral projection for the first time, I actually separated my imagination from the body and started to come out from outside and see myself. I actually saw myself from above. I saw myself sleeping below 7-2, and this is a very high imagination. I feel that the feeling is very connected to your imagination. So you feel that the situation is very, very real and there are very high vibrations and the energy is very high at that moment. So if you have reached this stage and you are able to see your perspective or see reality from another perspective externally, you will be able to imagine anything. You can also control your dreams with the utmost ease and simplicity because you are the one who controls your memory and you can reflect this memory to the outside. However, most people's imagination is limited to the inside. So when their imagination comes out to them, they get scared and their heartbeats quicken. They have a process of separation that they call between wakefulness and sleep, a very high vibration in his body. So he gets scared and gets up and loses the experience and tells you the experience is dangerous. The experience is disgusting because his imagination was actually going to reach a stage where he goes outside and sees the things inside as if you were a person separate from yourself. This is called the parallel world. Why were you in the parallel world? Your thoughts, memory, and all the feelings and emotions inside you start to create another parallel person to the outside. You start to see yourself from another perspective. This is called total vision. Total vision is the process of astral projection. Some people tell you that it comes out of the soul. This is empty talk. Some people tell you that the zero in the soul is the silver rope. This is empty talk. It is just an imagination that comes out from inside you to the outside. So it sees from the outside to the inside with the utmost simplicity. Your feelings and emotions rise exactly like the hypnagogic system. The hypnagogic system is the process of sleep paralysis. You suddenly wake up from sleep, your arms folded, and you call out, no one hears you, Mom, Dad, help me. Or you see scary shapes, or you see a demon, or you see a genie. All of this happens inside your imagination, my friend, and your body is asleep just as your body is. It does not actually move because it is in a state of stability in an instinctive and automatic way, so that we do not get up and walk while we are asleep. So it happens that I leave the body and let consciousness work during sleep. As a result, you start to see dreams, and so on. When the matter develops, it enters the hypnagogic system, and as a result, you become paralyzed. Physically, your consciousness awakens, so you start to see yourself from the outside. It is the same process, but the process that happens to you in the body is unconscious, but the process that happens to you in astral projection is conscious, and this requires training. Let's enter the exercise to reach this stage. First, you will take a comfortable position. The lighting should be appropriate, not very bright, but very dim. Stretch out on the couch or sleep on the bed. Any position that you're comfortable with. The important thing is that your body does not move. You start to take a deep breath and then go out. Repeat this more than once until you feel physical relaxation. You start one by one, focusing on one idea or one organ in your body. You can focus on your hand. Imagine that your hand is clenched. You clench it like this, then open it again, but in an imaginary way, not a physical way. I mean, your hand is still, and you start to imagine that your hand is clenching like this, and then you open it. This is imagination when you find that you are 100% able to do it, and imagine that your hand is opening, and you close. You have reached the first thing called illusory mental movement. If you were able to move any place in an illusory way, and your imagination is very fertile and very strong, that it can reach this state, be sure, my friend, that you will do the experiment successfully and without any fear. The first stage is to start focusing on any organ in your body and focus with it, that you are moving it once at a time. Try it after moving your hand to the right, for example, and doing the imagination in it in this way. Move to another organ and try to move it. When you find your imagination 100% moving this organ, start to the organ after it, and so on, until the body is completely asleep and you are able to relax completely mentally, and you are able to relax physically. Thus, all the thoughts that are inside your mind will flee and move away from you. Your mind will be clear. You will reach the stage of high consciousness, the stage of familiarity. So you will enter the stage between wakefulness and sleep. This stage is a decisive stage. It will begin after you have moved every organ in the body and were able to imagine it completely. You start imagining yourself outside your body. You start trying with your imagination to see yourself from above while your eyes are closed during the experiment. Try to go out with your imagination and see yourself while sleeping under. If you could bring the full details of the way you sleep, the way your features are, the clothes you're wearing, the way the room is in it, and you were able to imagine this matter strongly, and you are originally lost in imagination, you will find that the separation process happened, and you will find that you went out with your consciousness and imagination to the outside and began to see things from another perspective. This experience does not come from the first time if you are not able to completely separate from your body with your imagination one by one. That is, when you're strongly able to move your hand and separate with your imagination in your hand. After that, one by one, you will begin to enter the next stage and the next stage until you come out completely, and you will live the most wonderful experience you can see in your life. Literally, I am able to do projects inside my mind with my imagination and see things. Actually, if I were now consciously doing them naturally, I would not be able to reach this narrowness of details, because you see with a very, very clear vision, because you are physically relaxed and your consciousness is very calm. There are no disturbing thoughts. The two best times to practice the experiment are when you wake up from sleep. As soon as you wake up, you are ready to practice the experiment, because your body is already relaxed. It won't take a long time to relax. And the pre-sleep state, which is early, people say early, and my experience is doing it early, actually doing it here, is the peak of relaxation. So it gets you faster to the separation process with imagination inside the experience. Then when you start to go outside the house you're in and travel here and see here, it will be all imagination, meaning you see these things very accurately, similar to reality, but it is actually imagination because you went out with your imagination and consciousness outside your body. But sometimes you start to see facts, then you start to see things as they are, and this is something that is acquired by pure person, the person who actually reaches the state of humility in prayer, the person who originally has things of a transparent spirit like that and put them in him innately, so he can reach after that to achieve reality. In this experience, the astral projection experience, don't believe anyone who scares you from the experience. Believe me, You have potential and you have abilities and you have things that you originally don't know anything about. Until now, astral projection helped me a lot in raising my mental abilities to complete confidence. Especially, I was able to see myself clearly, and I can at any time clear my thoughts of any negative thought, and at the same time I can control my feel and emotion. I will see you in the next video. If you like the video, share it with others, and don't forget to write your experience in the comments when you try this experiment. Your opinion is very important. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.